And finally, new rule, you can't be in charge of counting the votes if you think the votes from one of the parties don't exist. Normally in a democracy, this is not something you'd have to say, but let me introduce you to Mark Finchem. He is the Republican nominee for Secretary of State in Arizona, and I'm guessing the bartender at an OK Corral theme park. If he wins, it'll be his job to count the vote next time. And Mark not only believes Trump won the 2020 election, he literally can't conceive that Biden could have. Why? He says, I can't find anyone who will admit that they voted for Joe Biden. Yeah, forget the meticulous audits, the hand recounts, the independent verifications run by Republican officials. This guy has never personally met a Biden voter, so they don't exist. You know, I've never been to a BTS concert, but I believe K-pop exists. And I gotta say, more than anything, this is what is wrong with this country. Our real division isn't between red and blue. It's between the people on both sides who aren't willing to mingle with Americans outside their political tribe, and so have no idea what they're really like, and the people on both sides who are willing to do that. Of course, Mark Finchem never met a Biden voter and probably thinks Democrats eat babies, because everybody he knows voted for Trump. Because he never leaves his hermetically sealed right-wing panic room. And I could say the same of many liberals who would never even talk to a Trump voter. I asked a friend of mine recently if he wanted to come to a little party I was having, and when he found out one of the guests had voted for Trump, he told me he wasn't coming because, quote, I wouldn't breathe the same air. Okay, there's a word for people like this: assholes. When we confine ourselves to bubbles, alternate points of view become not just objectionable, they're unfathomable. This guy Finchem thinks Biden voters are literally a fiction, like wizards or the female orgasm. When he was pressed on this and asked, isn't it possible that lots of people you don't know personally did vote for Biden? He replied, in a fantasy world, anything's possible. Mark, have you ever been to a Whole Foods? Or talked to a woman under 50? You know, in a nation based on pluralism, it's very dangerous that Americans are so in our silos, and it's largely because we've stopped living amongst each other. The latest census data revealed that Americans have hit the lowest rate of moving since they started tracking it in 1947. And while some of that is economic, much of the reason Americans don't move anymore is they just wouldn't feel welcome in too many places in their own country. Would anyone ride the New York City subway wearing a MAGA hat? Would anyone go to a NASCAR race in a Biden t-shirt while they chant, "Fuck Joe Biden"? That's where we are now, where other parts of the country are seen as scary no-go zones. America's like a prison now, where the inmates think they need to join one of the gangs to survive, and we dare not walk on the wrong side of the yard. In January of 2021, the New York Times published the headline, "They can't leave the Bay Area fast enough," and followed it up that July with the headline, "Tech workers who swore off the Bay Area are coming back." Yeah, they saw all the red hats and were like, fuck this, I'll take the wildfires. And the same would be true if an evangelical preacher showed up in West Hollywood. Once he was done blowing all those guys, he would hate it.